What are two things you need to know if you are thinking about bringing a lawsuit against a careless doctor? Would you like to know the answer? Come join me for a walk around the neighborhood as I share with you the answer to those questions. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski, a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. The first is that as you are contemplating bringing a lawsuit against a careless doctor is that when you go ahead and actually start a lawsuit against your careless doctor, do not be surprised when the doctor and his attorney turn around and try to blame you, the injured patient, for causing and contributing to your own injuries. That's number one. The second, as you are trying to find the best attorney for you, for your particular matter, do not be lulled into thinking that when you ask the question of any attorney you talk to and ask, what's my case really worth? Tell me how much money my case is worth. If the attorney starts to give you a real answer and starts to tell you and give you a number as to how much he believes your case is worth, my suggestion is to run as fast as you can, as far away as you can. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. At the very beginning, when you consult with an attorney, there is no possible way, there's no realistic way that any attorney, I don't care how long they've been in practice, could accurately tell you with any degree of certainty how much your case is worth. It is impossible. There is no way for an attorney to be able to tell you with any real understanding the true value of your injuries. And here's a good reason why. We may not know the true value of your injuries until much later. Your case may be recent. Your injuries may be recent. You might require ongoing care and treatment. You may require corrective surgery. You may have complications from whatever problems you're having now. You may need ongoing physical therapy. You may need speech therapy, rehabilitation therapy. There are many different types of treatment you could need and require into the future that you have no way of knowing right now whether you're going to need them. You don't know exactly where your case is going to be brought, what county it's in. You don't know many variables that can clearly impact and affect the value of your case. There is no possible way that any attorney worth their salt could ever give you any real indication of how much your case is worth at the very beginning. We have not had an opportunity, other than talking to you for maybe an hour, to go ahead and read through every single page of your medical records. There is no possible way we would ever be able to tell you what's going on with you from a disability standpoint because we haven't seen your treating doctor's records. We have not had a chance to talk to any of your doctors. Any lawyer who tries to tell you at the very beginning, during an initial consultation, in response to your question, well, how much is the value of my case? How much is my case really worth? If it's not worthwhile anything, then I'm not going to go ahead and bring a case. That's a reasonable argument. But on the other hand, if a lawyer turns around and says, oh, your case is worth $10 million, maybe even $20 million, you have to stop and ask the question, how do you know that? How can you possibly tell me that if you haven't looked at my medical records yet, if you haven't spoken to any of my treating doctors, if you don't know what my ongoing injuries are going to be, if you don't know how I'm going to be physically disabled? Is this going to affect me and my income for the rest of my life? Without knowing all those details, there is no possible way that any lawyer worth their salt could ever begin to answer that question. So, as you're contemplating deciding whether or not to go forward with a case against a careless doctor who caused you significant harm and injury, you have to be aware of those two things before you go any further. And by doing that, at least you'll have an open set of eyes. You'll have an open understanding of just some of the things that you need to watch out for as you decide to go forward. Now, let me go back for a second to the beginning. At the beginning, I told you that one of the things that the defense is likely going to do is that they're going to point a finger at you, the injured patient, and claim that you caused and contributed to your own injuries. And you might be saying, how is that possible? You know that you didn't cause or contribute to your own injury. You know that you walked into the hospital without a significant problem, and now you're unable to walk out. And now you have all these problems and disabilities. The reality is that when you do bring a lawsuit against a careless doctor claiming that he caused you physical harm and injury, now, the first thing that they will do is they will turn around and say, hey, why are you suing me? We did nothing wrong. Then they'll say, okay, if we did something wrong, and so did you, Mr. Patient. Then they'll say, well, if we did something wrong and so did you, guess what? Whatever I did didn't cause you harm and injury. That's another defense. And then they'll turn around and say, you know what? If I did something wrong and I caused you harm and injury, guess what? Your injuries really are not as bad as you claim them to be. Those are the typical defenses we see in these medical malpractice cases. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to help you understand how these types of cases work in the state of New York. You know, I recognize you're likely watching this. You wanted to join me on this beautiful walk today here in Great Neck. No, I realize you're likely watching this because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York and you are thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.